Hello, I'm John Tagg, Public Policy Advisor at UCP of Pittsburgh and a member of the City of Pittsburgh Allegheny County Task Force on Disabilities. I am joined today by Charles Morrison, Director of the Commission on Human Relations for the City of Pittsburgh.
John, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I've been the Director of the Commission on Human Relations for 17 years now, and I'm excited to have this opportunity to address fair housing rights for the disability community here in Pittsburgh.
Director Morrison, could you tell us a little about what the Commission on Human Relations focuses on?
John, the Commission studies and investigates complaints of alleged discrimination in employment, housing, and public accommodations within the City of Pittsburgh. It is our job to ensure compliance with civil rights laws and reduce incidents of discrimination. So while the Commission does promote equal rights and opportunities for all who work, live in Pittsburgh, for the purposes of this show, we will focus on a few issues that directly pertain to residents with disabilities. I'll begin by saying a bit about Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, which is more commonly referred to as the Fair Housing Act. The Act is meant to follow up the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Act prohibits discrimination concerning the sale, rental, and financing of housing based on race, religion, national origin, since 1974, gender. In 1988, the Act was further expanded to protect people with disabilities and families with children.
So Director Morrison has provided us with a very broad overview of the Fair Housing Act's significance. However, the Commission would like to highlight a specific issue that is covered within the Act, namely that of reasonable accommodation and modification of a housing unit. It is against the law for a landlord to refuse to allow a person with a disability to make reasonable modifications to an apartment at the expense of the tenant, or to make reasonable accommodation in rules, practices, or services when needed for full enjoyment of the premises by a tenant with a disability. For example, a tenant with a disability should be able to install bathroom fixtures or arrange for a handicapped parking space without difficulty. Director Morrison, how can a person with a disability request reasonable accommodation for modifications?
Well, John, the person should write a formal request to the landlord or building management. First, you should indicate that you qualify as a person with a disability as defined by the civil rights laws. It is not necessary to reveal the nature or severity of your disability. Give your address and who is responsible for the building. If writing to a management company, then describe the policy, rule, or architectural barrier that is problematic. Then describe how this policy or barrier interferes with your needs, rights, or enjoyment of your housing. In clear and concise language, describe the change that you are seeking in the policy, rule, or barrier. Cite the applicable law which protects your rights according to the Fair Housing Act. Ask for a written response within a certain amount of time. 10 days is standard practice. Finally, sign and date the request, and remember to keep a copy for your files. It's helpful to send your request via certified mail so that you have proof that it was received by a property manager. If you feel that you are subsequently treated unfairly, or if your request for reasonable accommodation or modification is denied, you can contact the Commission to file a complaint. To find out more about what the Commission does, go to www.pittsburghpa.gov/CHR, or you can reach us at the City of Pittsburgh Commission on Human Relations, 908 City County Building, 414 Grant Street, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15219. Telephone 412-255-2600. Our fax number 412-255-2288, or email us at human.relations@pittsburghpa.gov.
You can find more information on the City County Task Force and the City of Pittsburgh's ADA Coordinator at www.city.pittsburgh.pa.us/cp/html/ADA_coordinator coordinator.html, or call Richard Meritzer at 412-255-2102.